Hello, property nomads. Hope you're well. More news from a house builder. This time is, I assume it's called Berkeley. Maybe it's Barclay. I'm just going to call it Barclay. They see home reservations fall by a third in the last year or so. Jump into the article. So, high-end house builder and developer Barclay Group has flagged the high inflation and interest rates weighing on the sector as it reported a slump of more than a third in home reservations. Every man and his dog, every woman and his dog, every binary and their dog, whatever it is you want, however you want to associate yourselves nowadays, everyone is saying the same thing in housing. High inflation, high interest rates, they're having a massive impact on our business model in the way that we do things. It's affecting people at the bottom end of the market. It's affecting people at the top end of the market. This is exactly what it is. This is what it is. Underlying private sales reservations. So basically, if you don't already know what that is, that's when a buyer reserves a property for a period of time. They were down about 35% in the latest quarter in comparison to last year's rate. The slump, according to Barclay, the slump reflects a more volatile economic and political environment. I've got a feeling the political environment might sort itself out next year because I think we've got room for a Labour majority anyway, and that is probably through. Sometimes they say the best investment strategy is actually doing nothing, and that is pretty much what Labour are doing. They're letting the Conservatives self-combust even more than they can do. So Labour majority next year, in my opinion. They did also report, though, that property prices have risen above its business plan levels due to fewer new build and second-hand homes to meet demand in the market. This is something we constantly say on the Property Nomads YouTube channel, that when the demand for housing is higher than the supply, prices will increase. And we're seeing this in the rental sector. We are seeing this in general in the house building sector as well. Prices have increased. Why have prices increased in general over the last few years? That's because demand is still high. Demand will always be very high in this country, and yet the supply of homes being built, or the supply of homes that are available to rent, they are decreasing. Why are they decreasing? Well, from the rental side, landlords selling up, everything like that we've covered on other videos on the channel. From a house building side, it can be down to increased interest rates. It could be down to current economic conditions. It could be down to planning. We done a video on this last week where a lot of local councils are blocking planning permissions at the moment. They're making up reasons as they go along, and this means that developers aren't developing. That means then that the amount of homes being built is not as high as it should be. And all of that being said, when demand remains higher than supply, your prices are going to be high, or prices might increase. It's one of the two. The group, and I quote this, the complexity and protracted nature of the current planning system and lack of clarity surrounding certain regulatory changes affecting our sector at a time of considerable uncertainty for the UK economy, with persistent high inflation and interest rates, continues to deter investment into brownfield regeneration and the wider house building sector, end quote, the group said. Totally agree with that. I think that is pretty much spot on. Normally, I'm not one for big company mumbo jumbo, but to me, that is absolutely spot on. It's everything that we've literally just said in the last 2 or 3 minutes of this video. What does make me laugh on the article somewhere is that Barclay do say that they have not been purchasing land, or they have not been purchasing that much land, although they've always got their eyes open. Now, the reason why big developers sometimes aren't going out and purchasing a lot of land is because they're already sitting on a lot of land, because they're land banking. So they've identified pieces of land ages and ages ago. They probably already own the land. They just have not decided to go through planning. Maybe that's down to local councils. Maybe it's down to the big house builders themselves. That's the area where I get a little bit skeptical. So although they say that, oh yeah, no, we're not buying land at the moment. Yeah, that's fine. That is probably true. Maybe they're not buying land, but how much land have you actually land banked? Berkeley, that's what I'd like to know. So if someone from Berkeley is listening, number one, is it Berkeley or is it Berkeley? And secondly, how much have you got in the bank in terms of land banking? Because you've probably got a lot there. You're just deciding, because of the economic climate, that you're deciding probably not to build on that. And that could be down to economic conditions. That could also be down to local councils as well. And they are valid reasons. You've got to look out for your shareholders when you're at that level. I understand that. So let's see what happens. But big house builders are reporting that the amount of people that are looking to buy housing, or that are looking to put the reservation fees down, they've dropped quite considerably. They're citing economic reasons. We've had a lot of articles in the last few weeks where a lot of the bigger players in the house development sector are starting to say the same thing. And normally, their finger is on the pulse. And I think we can say, it's safe to say, we can expect a lot of slowing up to happen in the short to medium term. Thanks for listening to Property Nomads. As usual, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Please share the Property Nomads with as many people as you can. It's important that we get as much of this information out there as possible. And if you haven't already pressed the notification bell thing, please press that. It's either up there or down there, wherever it is, in order to get notified when new video content comes out. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next video.